From the blood-soaked battlefields of feudal Japan to the neon-lit streets of Tokyo where anime culture dominates the world, Japan has undergone the most dramatic cultural transformation in human history. What you're about to discover will completely change how you see this island nation and its people. By the end of this journey, you'll understand why Japan's cultural evolution isn't just a story about one country, but a blueprint for how entire civilizations can reinvent themselves while honoring their deepest traditions. Picture this: a lone samurai warrior, his katana gleaming in the morning sun, stands ready to face death with honor. Fast forward 4 centuries, and that same warrior's descendant is creating manga that influences millions of young minds across the globe. This isn't just cultural change, this is cultural alchemy, where ancient values transform into modern expressions that captivate the entire world. Today, we're diving deep into the unbelievable evolution of Japanese culture, from the legendary samurai who shaped the nation's soul to the anime artists who are reshaping global entertainment. This isn't your typical history lesson. This is the story of how a small island nation became a cultural superpower that influences everything from fashion to philosophy, from technology to storytelling. Our journey begins in the midst of time, in an era when honor was worth more than life itself, and the way of the sword determined the fate of nations. The samurai didn't just fight battles, they created a moral code that would echo through centuries and eventually influence how modern Japan approaches everything from business to art. But here's what most people don't realize about the samurai: they weren't just warriors, they were poets, philosophers, and artists. While Europe was emerging from the Dark Ages, Japanese samurai were crafting haiku that captured the essence of human existence in just 17 syllables. They understood something profound. True strength comes not from the sword alone, but from the harmony between physical prowess and a spiritual depth. The Samurai Code of Bushido established principles that still govern Japanese society today. Honor, loyalty, courage, and self-sacrifice became the bedrock of Japanese identity. When a samurai faced impossible odds, he didn't retreat. When he made a promise, he kept it even unto death. When he served his lord, he did so with absolute dedication. These weren't just military principles, they were life principles that shaped the entire civilization. Consider the legendary samurai Miyamoto Musashi, who won over 60 duels without ever losing one. But Musashi's greatest achievement wasn't his sword technique, it was his philosophical work, the Book of Five Rings, which transformed military strategy into life wisdom. He taught that the way of the sword is the way of all things, that mastery in one area leads to understanding in all areas. This holistic approach to excellence became fundamentally Japanese. The samurai also pioneered what we now call mindfulness. Through Zen Buddhism, they learned to find perfect stillness in the midst of chaos. A samurai entering battle didn't just rely on physical training. He achieved a mental state called mushin, where the mind becomes like still water, reflecting everything perfectly without being disturbed by anything. This mental discipline became the foundation for countless Japanese arts and practices. As the centuries passed, the samurai faced their greatest challenge: peace. When the Tokugawa shogunate unified Japan in 1603, the warrior class suddenly found themselves in a world that no longer needed constant warfare. This crisis forced them to evolve, and their transformation reveals something crucial about Japanese culture: its incredible ability to adapt while preserving core values. Samurai became administrators, teachers, and cultural preservers. They channeled their warrior discipline into mastering arts like calligraphy, tea ceremony, and flower arrangement. The same focus that once guided their sword practice now guided their brushstrokes. The same respect for hierarchy that governed the military service now structured their artistic traditions. They proved that true strength lies not in rigid adherence to old ways, but in the wisdom to apply timeless principles to new circumstances. This adaptability became Japan's secret weapon. While other cultures struggled with change, Japan learned to embrace it while maintaining its essential character. The samurai showed that evolution and tradition aren't opposites, they're dance partners in the grand performance of cultural development. The Industrial Revolution brought another seismic shift. As Japan opened to the Western world in the 1850s, the samurai class faced extinction. But their values didn't die, they transformed. The loyalty once given to feudal lords transferred to companies and the nation. The discipline once applied to sword practice found new expression in craftsmanship and innovation. The honor once earned on battlefields was now pursued in boardrooms and laboratories. This transformation wasn't without pain. The last samurai rebellions in the 1870s represented the death throes of an old world. But from this ending came a new beginning. The samurai spirit merged with modern ambition to create something unprecedented, a nation that could honor its past while racing toward the future. The early 20th century saw Japan applying samurai principles to industrialization. The same perfectionism that once guided sword making now guided the creation of precision machinery. The same dedication to continuous improvement that characterized martial arts training became the foundation for what the world would later know as Japanese quality control. But it was the post-war era that Japan's cultural evolution truly became extraordinary. Devastated by World War II, Japan faced a choice: retreat into isolation or emerge as something entirely new. The nation chose transformation, and what emerged was a cultural renaissance that would captivate the world. Enter the age of anime and manga. These aren't just entertainment forms, they're the modern expression of ancient Japanese storytelling traditions. The same attention to honor, duty, and personal growth that characterized samurai tales now animates characters like Naruto, who never gives up despite overwhelming odds, or the protagonist of Studio Ghibli films, who finds strength through connection to nature and community. Anime represents a democratization of the samurai spirit. Where once only the warrior class could embody these ideas, now any character, regardless of age or background, can demonstrate courage, perseverance, and honor. A young ninja can inspire millions to never give up. A magical girl can teach the power of friendship and sacrifice. A robot pilot can explore the themes of duty and identity that would have resonated with any samurai. The visual language of anime draws directly from traditional Japanese art. The emphasis on natural beauty, the importance of seasonal changes, the symbolic use of cherry blossoms and falling leaves all connect modern storytelling to centuries-old aesthetic traditions. When you watch an anime character contemplating under a blooming sakura tree, you're witnessing a direct line from ancient Japanese poetry to contemporary global culture. Manga, the printed companion to anime, revolutionized storytelling by proving that complex narratives could be told through sequential art. This wasn't just about entertainment, it was about expanding the boundaries of human expression. Manga artists learned to convey emotion, action, and philosophy through visual metaphors that transcended language barriers. The global success of anime and manga proves something profound about Japanese culture: its ability to create universal appeal while maintaining distinctly Japanese characteristics. A child in Sao Paulo can connect with the struggles of a young samurai in training. A teenager in Stockholm can understand the emotional journey of a high school student facing life's challenges. Japanese creators achieved what every culture dreams of. They made their specific experiences feel universal. This cultural export became a soft power revolution. Through anime and manga, Japan influenced global fashion, with cosplay becoming a worldwide phenomenon. Young people everywhere began adopting Japanese aesthetic, from the colorful hair of anime characters to the minimalist design principles of Japanese architecture. Tokyo became a pilgrimage destination for cultural enthusiasts, much like Paris for art lovers or Nashville for music fans. The influence extends far beyond entertainment. Japanese concepts like Hawaii, cute culture, minimalism, and the pursuit of perfection in small things have shaped global lifestyle trends. The same attention to detail that once characterized samurai sword making now influences everything from smartphone design to coffee brewing techniques. Video games represent another evolution of Japanese cultural influence. From the simple elegance of Tetris to the complex narratives of role-playing games, Japanese game designers applied traditional principles to interactive entertainment. The patience and practice required to master a difficult game echo the disciplined training of traditional Japanese art. The emphasis on achieving perfect technique, whether in Street Fighter or Dark Souls, connects directly to the samurai pursuit of martial perfection. Japanese game designers also pioneered emotional storytelling and interactive media. Games like Final Fantasy and The Legend of Zelda don't just challenge players' reflexes, they explore themes of friendship, sacrifice, and personal growth. Players don't just defeat enemies, they embark on heroes' journeys that transform both character and player. This emotional depth distinguishes Japanese games from purely mechanical entertainment. The technology industry reveals another facet of Japanese cultural evolution. Companies like Sony, Nintendo, and Toyota didn't just make products, they embodied Japanese values of continuous improvement, attention to detail, and respect for the user experience. The same perfectionism that once guided traditional crafts now drives innovation in electronics and automotive design. Consider the Japanese concept of kaizen, continuous improvement. This isn't just a business philosophy, it's a cultural value that traces back to the samurai commitment to constant training and self refinement. A samurai never considered his skills complete, he always sought to improve. Modern Japanese companies apply the same mindset to product development, always asking how something can be made better, more efficient, and more elegant. The global success of Japanese restaurants represents yet another cultural revolution. Sushi went from being a simple preservation technique to becoming a sophisticated culinary art from that requires years of training to master. The same dedication to perfection that characterized samurai training now guides sushi chefs who spend months learning to properly prepare rice before they're allowed to touch fish. Japanese cuisine also embodies the aesthetic principle of wabi-sabi, finding beauty in imperfection and impermanence. A perfectly imperfect ceramic bowl shaped by generations of use becomes more beautiful than machine-made precision. The philosophy challenges Western notions of perfection and offers more nuanced understanding of beauty and value. The influence of Japanese design principles extends to architecture and interior design. The minimalist aesthetic that characterizes traditional Japanese homes has influenced designers worldwide. The concept of creating harmony between indoor and outdoor spaces, the use of natural materials, and the emphasis on functional beauty all reflect ancient Japanese values adapted to contemporary needs. Fashion represents another arena where Japanese culture has achieved global influence. Designers like Yohji Yamamoto and Rei Kawakubo didn't just create clothes, they challenged Western fashion concepts. They proved that beauty doesn't require ostentation, that power can be expressed through subtlety, and the true luxury lies in the quality of craftsmanship rather than flashy brand. The Japanese concept of omotenashi, hospitality that anticipates needs before they're expressed, has influenced service industries worldwide. This isn't just about customer service, it's about creating experiences that demonstrate respect and care. A traditional Japanese inn doesn't just provide accommodation, it creates an atmosphere of welcome that makes guests feel valued and understood. Japanese business culture, despite its challenges, has contributed valuable concepts to global management theory. The emphasis on consensus building, long-term thinking, and employee loyalty offers alternatives to purely profit-driven approaches. Japanese companies demonstrated that treating employees as family members rather than replaceable resources could create both loyalty and innovation. The spiritual dimensions of Japanese culture continue to influence global wellness trends. Practices like forest bathing, mindfulness, meditation, and the pursuit of ikigai, one's life purpose, have been adopted by millions seeking alternatives to purely material success. These practices offer ancient wisdom for modern stress, proving that traditional Japanese approaches to well-being remain relevant in contemporary life. Japanese pop culture has also created new forms of global community. Anime conventions bring together fans from diverse backgrounds who share common interests and values. These gatherings create spaces where cultural boundaries dissolve, where someone's knowledge of Japanese culture matters more than their nationality or background. This represents a new form of cultural diplomacy, where shared interests create international connections. The phenomenon of Japanese kawaii culture has influenced global attitudes toward cuteness and vulnerability. In a world that often demands constant strength and competitiveness, kawaii offers permission to embrace childlike wonder and emotional openness. This cultural export has created new forms of self-expression and community building, particularly among young people seeking alternatives to aggressive individualism. Japanese horror, from films like Ringu to games like Silent Hill, has revolutionized global understanding of psychological fear. Rather than relying on gore and violence, Japanese horror creators mastered the art of suggestion and atmosphere. They prove that the most powerful fear comes from what we imagine rather than what we see, applying principles of restraint and implication that characterize many Japanese art. The global success of Japanese cultural exports raises important questions about cultural authenticity and adaptation. How does a culture maintain its essential character while appealing to global audiences? Japanese creators have generally succeeded by staying true to their core values while making their stories accessible to international audiences. They didn't abandon the cultural identity, they translated it into universal human experiences. This translation process reveals something crucial about effective cultural communication. The most successful Japanese cultural exports don't try to explain Japanese culture, they embody it. Viewers don't need to understand the historical context of samurai culture to appreciate the themes of honor and perseverance in anime. They don't need to know about Zen Buddhism to feel the meditative quality of the Japanese aesthetics. The future of Japanese cultural evolution promises even more innovation. As Japan faces demographic challenges and technological disruption, its culture continues to adapt while maintaining core values. Virtual reality experiences are bringing traditional Japanese arts to the global audiences. Artificial intelligence is being developed with Japanese principles of harmony and cooperation. Space exploration programs reflect Japanese values of patience, precision, and long-term thinking. Japanese culture's evolution from samurai to anime represents more than historical change. It demonstrates the power of cultural adaptation. The same values that once guided warriors now inspire artists, entrepreneurs, and innovators. The same attention to perfection that characterized sword making now drives technological innovation. The same respect for hierarchy and tradition that structured feudal society now creates frameworks for modern creativity. This evolution offers lessons for any culture facing change. The key isn't to choose between tradition and innovation, but to find ways to express timeless values through contemporary forms. Japanese culture succeeded because it understood that authenticity doesn't require stagnation, that honoring the past can fuel future creativity. The global influence of Japanese culture also demonstrates the power of soft diplomacy. Through entertainment, design, and lifestyle exports, Japan has created more international goodwill than any military or economic program could achieve. People worldwide feel personal connections to Japanese culture not because they were forced to accept it, but because they chose to embrace it. As we look toward future, Japanese culture continues to evolve while maintaining its essential character. New forms of anime explore contemporary themes while honoring traditional storytelling principles. Modern Japanese artists create work that speak to global audiences while expressing distinctly Japanese perspectives. Technology companies develop products that embody Japanese values of craftsmanship and their user respect. The unbelievable evolution of Japanese culture from samurai to anime and beyond isn't just a story about one nation's transformation, it's a blueprint for how any culture can honor its past while embracing its future, how traditional values can find new expressions, and how local authenticity can achieve global appeal. This journey reveals that most powerful cultural evolution doesn't abandon what came before, it transforms it. The samurai spirit didn't die, it found new forms of expression. The Japanese commitment to excellence didn't fade, it adapted to new challenges. The cultural values that once guided warriors now inspire creators, innovators, and dreamers worldwide. What makes this evolution truly unbelievable isn't just its scope or global impact, but its demonstration that cultural authenticity and universal appeal aren't contradictions. By staying true to their deepest values while remaining open to new possibilities, Japanese culture has achieved something remarkable. It has become both proudly itself and genuinely universal. The story of Japanese cultural evolution continues to unfold, promising new chapters that will surprise and inspire. From the disciplined samurai to the creative anime artists, from traditional craftsmen to technological innovators, Japan has shown the world that the most profound changes often grow from the deepest roots. This is the unbelievable evolution of Japanese culture, a transformation that proves the power of adaptation, the importance of authenticity, and the endless possibility of human creativity. The journey from samurai to anime is far from over, it's just beginning to reveal its true potential.